Wonder Woman intro because every time I mention her name, it just starts playing. Can we turn that music down? So, anyways, I watched. Oh, sorry. My name's Andres, and today we are talking about Zack Snyder's The Snyder Cut. Now, this movie has Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg, Steppenwolf, Spider-Man, Darkseid, Pooper Man, all those people, and Wonder Woman. Can we turn that music off, please? Every time I say Wonder Woman, oh, it's never stopping. Movie is amazing. WB, what made you think that putting out Justice League was a good idea? This movie would have made at least the same amount or more probably than BVS. Now, obviously, this 4-hour cut was never going to be put out in theaters for obvious reasons, but still, I mean, this is like my comfort movie, you know what I mean? And a movie about people dying and gods and aliens and blood and death and swears, you know, seems like, you know, a bit of a bold step as a comfort movie, but I think it is. So again, we're gonna go through this pretty quickly. I thought Ben Affleck was amazing as Batman. I think he's one of my favorite Batmans. I'm just gonna put that out there. I know it's a controversial statement, but he just, I feel like, embodies just being a person. You know what I mean? Like, you feel like Bruce Wayne is a person and less of this fictional character. Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, was pretty cool in the movie. She was great, and I loved her. No, but she was really good in the movie. Obviously, I think he wasn't my favorite character, but I definitely do think a lot of people like that she was a lot better than in the Wonder Woman 1984 sequel, which I thought was alright. Aquaman was very different. He wasn't as jokey. He was a lot more Shakespearean and serious, and a lot of the stuff in Atlanta was a lot more Atlantis was a lot more serious and Shakespearean and less of it the jokey kind of loosey-goosey film that was the first Aquaman, which I love, but I think it's an interesting take. Henry Cavill as Superman, I don't think he's like the best Superman, but I think he really has grown into the role over the few years, and a scene where he, like, you know, is putting on the black suit and you hear the dialogue from the previous movies, it got me emotional, actually. And he flies up and he's like, God. And then he goes down and he meets Martha and he meets Lois and they hug. It's heartwarming. It pulls on your heartstrings. And I got emotional in that scene. And I don't usually get emotional at superhero movies. Cyborg and Flash, I think everyone can agree those are the two best characters in the Snyder Cut. Ezra Miller is not annoying, quippy all the time. He's funny, he's charismatic, but he's got a personality. He's got some oomph to him, some seriousness to him. And his comedy works a lot better in this film because it's not just like 24/7. Cyborg's backstory was incredible. The visuals, seeing his powers and those two rhinoceroses fighting, it was just so epic and beautiful. And the cinematography for this movie and the lighting, like all Zack Snyder movies, the visuals are the best part, and the visuals delivered so much. When Flash was running through and trying to reverse time and all the flesh was coming back on Superman and Cyborg, I mean, like, I say to myself, how could you think that was unwatchable? How could you think no one would want to see that? Because that's awesome. It's epic. It's like Zack Snyder at his best. It's peak Snyder. And Cyborg helping that, like, there was a scene where Cyborg helped that homeless lady, and that was a great way of showing off his powers. And again, I think he was the heart of the movie, and that final monologue of his father was beautiful. And again, I want to see more of Cyborg because Cyborg and Flash have great chemistry, and their characters are so rich, and we really get to know them. And I know a lot of people did not like the Flash sequence. I thought it was the best scene in the film, personally, the best segment, when he's, like, touching, and the visuals are just so brilliantly filmed. And the music, I just love the song that they played over it, and I was surprised that they added so much songs in it, kind of these indie off-brand songs, but I thought it fit the scenes pretty well and almost made it feel like a musical in a bit of a way, which I thought was awesome because I love musicals. So Steppenwolf as a character was so much better, and he got killed amazing. Like, his death was perfect. I wish Thanos died that way. But I felt sympathy for the guy, you know what I mean? Like, he felt like a genuine character, not some generic villain that was like, I'm here to take over the planet. Rawr, fear me. Like, he had a personality to him. He had danger to him. He killed people. He threw an Atlantean across into rocks and made his head explode, and that was awesome, too. So I felt sympathy for the guy, and I feel like he was a genuinely good character and a lot better than a lot of MCU characters. Steppenwolf and Deceit were awesome. Darkseid and Deceit were awesome. We didn't get a lot of their personalities, and we didn't really get to see them as characters. But I'm telling you, these two guys were awesome, and I want to see more of Darkseid because he seems like just a cold, callous, straight army guy, and as opposed to the Thanos, who had a bit more of a personality and was more like philosophical and like not a complete like straight villain. And there's so much movie you forget things happen, so that when you go back, I feel like there's a great rewatchability factor because there's so much movie, and by the time you get to the end of the movie, you're like, oh, that happened in the beginning of the movie, and you're like, I gotta watch it again. And it's just something about it where you're just addicted to it. You watch it and you're like, I need to see this again. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to see this again. I've only seen it twice. I wish I'd seen it more times, but you just get sucked in, you know what I mean? Because you love being in that world and having conversations. And I found myself wanting to see more of just the League just interacting. I felt like that was more intriguing and investing than when they were fighting. The action sequences were awesome, all of them. But I felt like when people were talking is when I was the most invested. And that's the exact opposite of what audiences want in a comic book film. And I know this is a bit bold. I think this is better than Endgame, and I think it's better than Infinity War. Call me crazy, but I think they're just at two different levels. Like, this asks very deep philosophical questions, and it's just you watch this and you watch Endgame or Infinity War, and you just think, these are just at two different levels, man. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's at a different level than most comic book films, you know what I mean? Because it feels like an auteur's vision or version of a comic book film. It doesn't feel like a generic studio-made film, but it feels like a singular vision. I think everyone can agree with that, and that's why I love it so much. And everyone agrees that this movie was better. It has like a 9 to 19 to a 33, 34% higher rating than it did when it first came out on Tomatoes. It has the highest audience score of any DC film, I think, and the highest and more higher than any MCU film. And it's the second highest rated DCEU comic book film in IMDb. The movie is super successful. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Oh, and that final scene with Batman and Jared Leto, awesome. Like, that is so good. And this is the one scene where usually Joker, the villains, overshadow Batman, and in this I was like, they're the same, you know. Batman doesn't overshadow Joker doesn't overshadow them. You can overshadow Batman. You can feel there's a history there. You can feel the emphasis when he said Harley Quinn was dying. It was just like, oh my god, that whole scene was just so good. And I know a lot of people don't like Jared Leto still, but I thought he redeemed himself, and I want to see this particular version of Joker on the screen because he played with different levels with his voice, and I thought that was so cool. And his voice and his laugh wasn't the best, but I think that he feels like a creepy Joker. He feels like the first genuinely scary Joker. And that final sequence was awesome. And Motion Manhunter was awesome. And again, the final scene when he was flying and he went into space, that was cool. Although I did feel like the epilogue kind of ruined the momentum. Like, I feel like there was like multiple endings, like Return of the King, like the League defeated Steppenwolf, end of movie. Nope, there's another scene. And then Superman, and then you think it's gonna end, then there's another scene. So I feel like it kind of ruined the momentum, and it kind of took away from the film, and I would have rather had them do a post-credit scene, then do the Lex Luthor thing, and then do the whole sequence in the nightmare thing. And again, that was just tacked on just because hopefully the SnyderVerse will get restored. And the opening sequence was so well done. And again, this 2017 cut does not compare to this. I mean, this is the only Justice League that's available. Like, this is the only one that makes sense for you to watch. Don't watch the 2017 version because it's dope. So moving on, I know there's more I want to say, but I want to make this 10 minutes. What do I want to see? Hashtag restore the SnyderVerse. We need to see this movie, the second and third movie made. If you've seen what Zack Snyder was planning on, you know it's awesome. And I want to see the Snyderverse restored. Obviously, Warner Brothers has stated this concludes his version. This concludes his universe of films, but if we got the Snyder Cut, we can get this. I want to see a miniseries. Maybe it's a one-season thing where it's Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, and Jared Leto's Joker exploring Robin's death. That way, it doesn't interfere with the future of the DCEU, and it can just be before BVS. I don't think we need to see another movie with Henry Cavill as Superman, and if so, maybe he could be like incorporated into a film instead of being like the center of it, even though we're getting a new Black Superman. And I would love to see Flash Ray Fisher become Cyborg again, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But if it did, I would love to see like a spin-off film, maybe on HBO Max, where we just get to see maybe him before he joins the Justice League, and it's kind of this noir-driven indie film that just focuses on him dealing with his powers and being super moody. I think that would work, and I can't wait to see Flash Paradox, which will feature Ezra Miller, and he's luckily staying with the DCEU. And obviously, whoever replaces Ray Fisher is gonna be good. But again, my boy Ray is number one. And I think that we can definitely see this work in Snyder's universe work. You know what I mean? Maybe instead of getting 3 Justice Leagues, we could just get a second one, and we could just kind of wrap it up there. But I think that if we gain enough interest and we do enough, we can get the SnyderVerse restored. It's been super successful. Thank you for watching. Like, sub, and comment. And remember, hashtags restore the SnyderVerse. Maybe on the 1-year anniversary, a year from now, we can continue that hashtag. It's going to take a while. We're not going to get the sequel immediately, but if we work hard enough and we do the exact same things we did, minus some of the toxicity for the Snyder Cut, you can bet your bottom dollar that we will get more Snyder-oriented films and TV shows, and that's all we want. So that's it, and go watch it on HBO Max. Do not illegally download it unless you're poor, because if that's the case, then it's okay. But if not, everything we can to make this trend and continue to go on and on and on and be a success.